Hi. Hello. Do you want to start, ma'am?
Sir, I'll give an announcement, sir. Just a minute. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I welcome Mr. C S Jadhav, and he will speak on the topic harnessing the power of pulses and millets for India's nutrition security. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the introduction. Before I start, I'll just give a brief introduction about myself and what I do, especially in the area of pulses and millets. So, as you introduced, my name is C S Jadhav. I'm the CEO and co-founder of NutriCircle Limited. NutriCircle Limited is a nutrition and protein-based company based out of Hyderabad, and we isolate protein from millets and pulses. And I'm happy to share that we are the first company to isolate protein from millet, especially foxtail millet and amaranth millet. And apart from that, we are working on different pulses. Especially the whole idea for us is to target the Indian based pulses, because India is blessed with millet and pulses as well. And you are aware that millet has now taken international stand now, when it was declared in 2023 as an international year of millets. And before that, 10 years back, I started a millet based company. So my overall experience has been into food, nutrition, and sustainable agriculture. When the agriculture your company invited me, I thought this is a very important topic, especially when India is going through a nutritional security and we are going through a protein deficiency kind of a situation. So I thought this could be a very important subject for all of us to discuss. To set the context, you are all aware that India actually is one of the largest producers of pulses in the world, and also we are the largest consumers of pulses in the world. And the only source of protein or nutrition we get it from pulses. But unfortunately, we are the kind of production every year we have few challenges, and thanks to Niti Aayog and Government of Agriculture, basically, they have now come out with a roadmap, especially to target increasing the production of pulses. Niti Aayog has come up with a special machine called Atmanirbhar Bharat, where they have declared pulses as the Nutri pulses, and their target is to increase the pulses of production. The target is to increase the productivity per acre also, and the target also to increase the nutritional and to also address the nutritional security in a more sustainable way. So being in this industry, I thought I'll give a practical approach, and to address this particular challenge, we thought we ourselves as a company would like to initiate a very innovative and a model, and we have given this particular proposal to Maharashtra to set up India's first protein cluster, basically with an intention to harness the potential of pulses, especially to addressing the nutritional security. So, in support with the government of Saskatoon and ICRISAT and with the Plant-Based Food Industry Association, this proposal was given, and I'm happy to share that this proposal has been accepted by government of Maharashtra. So with that context, I thought let me share our practical approach and how we are approaching, the pulses as an industry and pulses as an agriculture commodity. And I will go through a presentation which might take about 20-25 minutes, and then I'm happy to answer your question. So as you see from the slide, this was a presentation we had given it to Maharashtra government. To set the context, as I told you that India is actually targeting to increase the production of pulses. Currently, we are at about 26 million metric tons, and the target is to increase to about 34 million metric tons. And the whole objective at the same time is to basically address the nutritional and protein security, as India largely is a protein deficient market, because 70% of our population are protein deficient, and also nutritionally we have a lot of challenges, including stunted growth, micronutrient deficiency, zinc and iron, etc. So when you look at the NIN guidelines also, it says that we need about 36 kg pulses per person to consume, but we are far below that particular level. And I think the most important thing that basically pulses fits into the sustainability point of view, because it is actually grown in rainfed condition, and also it requires 60 to 70% water less when you compare to rice or any other other cereals as compared. So what we were trying to do is, one of the a differentiation where we wanted to create in the pulses market, we in collaboration with Ecrisat have developed a high protein variety. Typically, we have chosen chickpea as the agri commodity or the agri pulses, as you can call it as. So in the chickpea, generally you have about 18 to 20% maximum protein, but within variety through Ecrisat, we have developed 28% high protein variety. That means, the protein content in the chickpea in the grain itself is about 28%, which is very suitable for our nutritional needs. And the objective also is to see how we can add, value added product, and the target is to increase the export from 3 lakh 50,000 metric tons to 7 lakh million metric tons by 2030. So when you look at India on large, our per productivity of pulses are less compared to the global average, which is about roughly 0.69 tons per hectare compared to 969 kg per hectare. Because largely, the when you compare with either with China or with Australia or with Canada, we have a challenge of low productivity weak system. And the other challenge we have is because we do a lot of scattered cultivation. Likewise, there is a lot of poor infrastructure, scattered logistics, and there's no much value addition is happening, unlike other countries where, in personally, I had visited Saskatoon, where one particular province of Saskatoon, they have developed an entire value chain on pulses. And I think the other challenge is that we have poor market linkages, lack of value addition, and sometimes we also have to import pulses. And especially in 2023-24, we almost imported about 3.74 billion USD of pulses into the country. So we thought Maharashtra, being one of the third largest producing pulses in the country, they are one of the largest producers, including chickpea, pigeon pea, other pulses, and they almost have about 15% of the total production, covering about 4.56 billion metric tons, and also they're increasing at the 10% pulse production year on year. So why we have chosen Maharashtra? Because one is the strategic location, and because it is very well connected to the port. Second is the infrastructure is very good there, and there, as I told you, they have a lot of support, especially in SEZ, Agro Export Zone, Logistics Park, and Cold State support. And one of the reasons we thought that probably we can start this pulses cluster from Maharashtra, because they have developed a very good ecosystem. For example, Parbhani University, they have developed a high yielding variety of pulses. In fact, there is an Indo Pulses Development Association in Tuljapur, which is one of the Marathwada region, which is one of the backward region there. And they also have a smart project, going on, supported by World Bank. And we are one of the first company to have set up an extraction with a joint venture Hite Industry, which is India's first protein concentrate plant, which is a 2.5 ton per hour capacity plant has been set up. I think we are creating that kind of ecosystem, and very close to Nagar, where we are looking for this particular pulses cluster, there is Mahatma Phule Krishi Vidyapit, Rahuri. In fact, we'll be also taking their support into the project also. And in fact, in Marathwada also, they have kind of a cluster which they are developing. So I think Maharashtra, in terms of the ecosystem, we thought it could be one of the starting point for us to take this particular project. And when you look at the way we envisage the particular protein cluster or the nutrition cluster, basically we thought very important is that first we looked at from the agriculture side of it. So what we have decided that we'll first set up the India's first center of excellence, where we, in collaboration with ICRISAT, in collaboration with agriculture universities, in collaboration with the R&D Institute, we'll set up a center of excellence where we will get the high yielding variety, we'll get the high protein variety, we'll also get the best practices of agriculture. What we would like to also do is we have a demonstration center. We'll set up a kind of a training and knowledge center also, where farmer can come, farmer can learn, and then we can also kind of encourage a lot of through an incubation program where we can invite a lot of startup. Where, for example, somebody is good in digital agriculture, somebody is good at drone technology, somebody is good at producing and things like that. So we want to basically create an ecosystem where we get the best productivity of pulses. And then the second zone, we are envisaging that we would like to create and kind of a demonstration model where we would like to also extend this particular facilities to the farmer around that particular area, and also FPOs around that particular area, so that we can integrate the cluster with these FPOs and farmers around that particular area. And the third zone, we thought, because obviously this is the first two zone is more on the R&D, more on productivity side. The second is more on the training demonstration, and obviously it has to be connected to the industry. So what we are envisaging that we'll create that agri infra zone, where we'll set up primary processing zone where industries can come there. Because as you have the production, you have the supply chain. Obviously, there are a lot of companies would be interested, to come to this particular agri processing zone, where they can set up their own processing facility, they can set up the labs, they can set up extraction unit, they can get into value added product. And very important obviously is the logistics and market linkages, where we'll set up a logistics zone there, where we'll have cold storage warehouses which can connect to the port directly, because from there some of the highway is going on, and it is very close to Nagar, Pune, close to Bombay. So it is as well very well connected. When we are looking for an export market over a period of time, this can also be a good opportunity for the entire stakeholders in different value chain. Most important, we are also looking to take support of APEDA and Chamber of Commerce, etc., so that basically they also would like to explore opportunities in these particular zone. So the components, as I discussed, that it will have a center of excellence where we'll have seed system, plant protein, R&D lab, infrastructure like cleaning, sorting, grading. Then as I told you, demonstration zone, and the whole objective is to target about 50,000 acres over a period of time, where we can integrate farmers and FPO around the particular area, and also create a market linkages, especially for food companies, export, B2B market. So when you look at the facilities, where we have created an innovative, just to give a pictorial, kind of this one, I like to share a small video, how the entire zone looks like. I think there's some problem with the video. In any case, I can share you this presentation. This has processing center, training center, demonstration center, and with the other facilities. So the entire value chain would be something like this, where we would like to have the best of the varieties, the high protein variety, the high yielding variety, where we like to integrate, the farmer cooperative sectors, individual farmers, self-help group. Then going for a production, then we'll set up a primary production center, secondary collection center, warehouse, food processing, that is how the processing value chain would look, where we encourage a lot of chickpea, tur dal, masoor dal, and because most of these crops are already cultivated in this particular area, and then it will connect to the food processing. We see a huge potential, especially from a protein side, because we ourselves are involved into the protein business, where we see today currently, when you look at the protein market landscape, we are largely importing either pea protein from Canada, or a soy protein from US, are mostly it is whey protein, which is again an animal derivative. And most of the soy protein are the pea protein we largely import either from Canada or US or from China. India has definitely a huge potential, especially now that India is blessed with pulses rich protein, millet rich protein. So we see a great opportunity in this particular sector. And as you're aware that post COVID, the entire food landscape also have changed. People are looking for healthier option. People are looking for alternative, food. And protein definitely, the way I look at it, how it is transformed millet business in this country. Next 10-year protein business also going to be a big hub in this country. Probably India can be, the production hub to the global market. And I think there is a huge potential because it can go in different application. It can go into ready to eat. It can go into ready to cook, snacking, beverages, and this, a little portion of protein when added into the food business. There's a huge market, and we at NutriCircle, in fact, have already started a B2B division where we are supplying it to most of the food companies, and the kind of response is very encouraging because today the kind of food India has, there is either no protein or no nutritional. I think we see a great opportunity in this particular sector, and especially I think not only because today most of the pulses go as a trade in the commodity. We also see a huge potential, especially in the snacking, where these pulses can go into value added product also. Not only in India, the ready to eat, ready to cook or snacking product can also, there is huge potential in the export market, especially chickpea. Not only to India, chickpea is a global commodity where in some format or the other, chickpeas use. In fact, when you go to UAE, they use in hummus. When you go to Germany, Europe market and things like that. I see a great synergy. There's a huge potential. I think the whole idea is that is there a model where we can integrate? I think probably the best way is we thought cluster model would be a innovative strategy to take our objectives forward. So we've chosen Ahmednagar because of the strategic location. And when you look at Ahmednagar as a zone, currently they are producing almost about 240,000 hectares of pulses cultivation, out of which 160,000 hectares of chickpeas already grown, which is a very strong agriculture based, it is very well connected to Pune, Nasik, and Bombay. It has got all the road connectivity, it's got the road rail connectivity, it's got the freight connectivity, and it has got very close to JNPT port, and then very well connected to other areas. And I think the value chain from farm to protein integration with the available manpower, with the skill, I think we thought this could be an ideal location to start with. So at NutriCircle, we would like to take the lead partner, because we envisage pulses is going to be the way forward in Indian market, because we need the production of pulses, and then we see a huge demand, as as I told you, we are one of the largest consumer of pulses, but still we have a lot of challenges of productivity, low productivity, logistics challenge. And I think if we are able to solve through this particular model, we see a huge potential. The support from Maharashtra government, they are supporting us with land, with FPO support, and then there is a Pulses mission where there is support coming from, from the central government also. We are also collaborating with government of Saskatoon because they have developed the center of excellence in province of Saskatoon, where they are one of, and in fact, I personally had visited them. Plant-based food industry association, we are associated with them, and they are basically advocacy. They are into policy, so we are taking support from them. Institute like ICRISAT, NIFTEM, Agriculture University, where we like to integrate because we need agronomic practices, we need agriculture support, we need processing support, we need technology support. Food institutes like NIFTEM would play a very vital role. CFTRI like institute can play a very vital role. And I think we need to integrate agriculture universities, all the ecosystem which is required for this particular cluster model. I think that could be that's the reason we thought it is not about NutriCircle alone. It is about getting all the stakeholders to one particular platform and explore the opportunity of one from the production side of it and also address from a nutritional side of it. And I think, APEDA is doing a very good work. NAFAD is already procuring a lot of pulses. We see a lot of B2B buyers coming in, trading companies, would be involved in this. there'll be exporters coming into this particular project also even. So I think what we are asking from government of Maharashtra, especially from a policy support, like any government has their own tax incentives, land, and this being an agriculture project, they are very keen to have this getting implemented as soon as possible. It is not about about an industry, but also it is very sustainable model. We are actually going to cover almost about 50,000 acres of farming. So you can imagine, we from a farmer angle also, from a sustainability angle also. So this is more like a sustainable social a project, but at the same time we want to kind of have an industry related approach. So I think there is a kind of a very positive approach which is coming from both the state and the center. And I think the time has come where everybody has to come together, to develop this kind of models. So the overall impact, we see almost about 1,000 crore of investment coming into this particular project as we go along, because as you have a very strong supply side, we have production coming in, we have high productivity going in, and we have a lot of varietal development coming in, we have a lot of protein-based pulses coming in. We see obviously there are a lot of companies of their own interest would come and like to invest, and the revenue potential would be as high as about 5,000 crore, with an area development of 500 acres, with an employment generation of 2.5 lakh, and we can bring about 50,000 acres of cultivation. And this is going to be not easy. There are definitely a lot of challenging, but of course, we are very excited that every project takes its own time. So we are envisaging, year one would be more on implementing, and I think next 3 to 5 years, we should be able to achieve, the target of 50,000 acres. So just to give a model where, Saskatoon has already developed this kind of a model in a small province of Saskatoon, where they, from one single province, they have produced about 1.4 million tons of pea production, and they basically generate 1.1 billion across the world. I think there's no rocket science. When they can develop, India has the potential. Of course, India has got its own challenges, but India has the kind of potential because we are an agrarian country. There is huge potential there. There is an ecosystem which is coming in. I think we see definitely a win-win situation. We learn from best practices across the world. We like to bring into our own country, and then with the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, with the vision of self-sufficiency, with the vision of 2047, I think there's a huge opportunity in this particular sector. And I think NutriCircle, would like to take this responsibility and take the opportunity to the next level. And I think it requires a lot of support from all the stakeholders. And with this particular objective in mind, the whole idea is, one, we can address three important factors. One is we can increase the production of pulses. Second, we can address the nutritional and protein security. We can also at the same time do the most sustainable way, because pulses, as you're aware, that it is consumes a lot of less water. It is basically one of the most sustainable crop, including millet also, which requires minimum rainfall to about 200 to 300 or 400 millimeters. Likewise, pulses also has that kind of potential. I think with the combination of pulses and millet, and with the kind of support from different stakeholders, we see a huge opportunity. And India, I'm sure, could be the global hub for producing. Not only we can surpass the set target of 34 million metric tons of pulses production, but a stage will come where we can also look at an export market. I think from that perspective, I thought this particular topic was important, and I thought let me share our perspective, our views, the way we are looking at this particular industry. And definitely on the way there are a lot of challenges, but at the same time we see a great opportunity. I once again thank you very much for giving him an opportunity for this particular model. I thought this could, the way to look at it, I thought I I'd like to share the most practical approach, and not that we are basically almost moving one step at a time, where we started implementing this particular protein cluster or the pulses cluster as well. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen,
Yeah,
sir, so
sure,
that
sure.
we can see your full video?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll move on to the questions now, sir. The first question is,
1 second, ma'am.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry. Can you see
can
me?
I proceed, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. What makes millets and pulses more effective than rice and wheat in tackling hidden hunger?
Uh, I One is that when you look at pulses, why we consume pulses, everybody knows it is mostly for nutrition and no protein. And when you look at an average protein in the pulses, it ranges from about 12-13% to about 18%. Unlike rice or other cereal, which are more carb based, which are more, what do you call, where the percentage of protein is far less. Second is that from a sustainability angle, rice compared to pulses, it's a very water intensive crop. uh, and especially millet also has got, apart from the protein, it has got a lot of other nutritional benefits like the fiber or the amino acid profiling or the nutritional profiling or the micronutrients, which, for example, when you look at either pearl millet or foxtail millet or amaranth, or for that matter, minor millet also. So, from a nutrition point of view and from a protein point of view versus rice, we find pulses would definitely be a suitable candidate. And as India, as I told you, we have that acquired taste of pulses, and the only source of protein, we get it, either the nutrition we get it from pulses. Because when you look at the our food table also, we are largely are cereal based or carb based. So the protein intake, is much lesser. I think probably from that perspective, we thought, this could be the most sustainable way, as it has got all the required, requisite in terms of the protein, in terms of nutrition, and from a sustainability point of view.
Okay. Despite their benefits, why has the consumption of millets and pulses declined in recent years?
Well, I think as the pulses consumption, basically still, as I told you, ma'am, we are a import, we are a deficient country. For example, in 2023, I shared the slide also where we had to import pulses either from Australia and Canada. The reason is that we are the productive, the yield per hectare is very low compared to the other, when you compare to the other countries as such. So one of the reason where farmer are wanting to shift probably is one of the yield, and also probably is one from a sometimes, when the MSP also, when you are not harvested the right time, or when the storage is not in the right time, or because of the poor infrastructure, because of poor harvesting, and because of poor warehousing, there are a few challenges where farmer generally, either they shift to other crops or cereals or cotton and things like that. But I think the way I look at it, with the kind of support with Niti Ayog, we just started. In fact, Niti Ayog machine has just started. They have also started getting into state-wise, bifurcation. They also started giving budget to the state as well. To me, I think probably if this particular challenge of product increasing the productivity, increasing the yield per hectare, and obviously the MSP also they have changed now. So there is definitely a kind of inclination from the farmer, but a support is required. And with this particular support, I see definitely a good prospect, in this millet and also in pulses where we can increase the production.
Okay. How can we make millet-based foods more appealing to the young generation?
Very good question, ma'am. Typically, I think one of the biggest changes what we are seeing currently is the Gen Z and the new millennials. I think now when you look at buying pattern, compared to my generation, are where you are used to certain food system. But when you look at the millennials and Gen Zs, they're actually looking, the backside of the packaging. They're looking at, is this particular it has got that nutritional content, it has got the protein. They're looking the nutritional label very, very keenly and clearly on that, and they are going for a product which are having a sustainable and GI tag product also. I think this change definitely would are driving to slowly shift to more nutrition based, more protein based, more fiber based, more gut based food. And this change is in fact happening, as we can distinctly see. Now people are looking towards healthier food. People are looking for more food which can relate to the Gen Zs. In case probably once, if for example, if in the snacking industry, for example, India is very big in snacking. In case we can come out with certain amount of protein into the snacking industry itself, it can change a big market in this particular country. So I think the food companies are working for, and I think now you see Britannia's of the world, to ITCs of the world, and big companies like Haldiram, they're all looking slowly to add some product line into their category, either millet based or protein based or nutrition based. I think the change is happening, but the over a period of time, I think definitely this change will happen, and the Gen Zs and the new millennials will take the market, and we see them as the key drivers, for better consumption, and they will drive the industry, man.
Okay. How important is farmer participation in achieving nutrition security through these crops?
From a farmer perspective, ma'am, they will only look at in from a supply side, or a company which can support them, or the industry which can support them. And you have seen parallel example happening in potato, to other crops as well. So the way I look at it, if we are able to get to that level of increasing the production through a cluster model, where it brings all the energies on one particular point, then the farmer would be interested, because somebody is actually buying, the product. For example, I'm talking from my own chickpea protein variety, uh, where obviously we are able to convince the farmer to grow, because we are giving them a better price. For him, there is one angle, he's happy that I'm growing a protein based variety. That is secondary to him, but at least, as we are providing them the seed, we are providing them a premium against the regular commodity chickpea. He's happy to grow that. And I think probably this kind of a trend would slowly get into the farmer. And when companies like us will come out with a more like a kind of a model where they can support these FPOs or the farmer, I'm sure if some kind of a arrangement is done, they would look primarily from productivity point of view, second productive from economic point of view, third obviously they'd also be happy to supply this kind of a nutrition kind of food. What is required is a very robust supply chain, and model like this, I kind of firmly believe will definitely help to kind of increase the production. Later on, obviously, when nutritional is happening in the farm level itself, there is a need at the nutrition to the farmer also. This will percolate down at the grassroots level over a period of time. And obviously, the nutrition requirement is not only to the urban class, it is also to all the classes of the society, man.
Okay. What role do awareness campaigns and education play in promoting millet and pulse consumption?
Very interesting. I think what is required, one of the biggest, I think, a change which I've seen, especially which is coming top down, and none another, our own Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, he himself has become brand ambassador either of millet and pulses, and you can see him, talking about it in some platform or the other. And thanks to G2023, where it declared International Year of Millet, so all this, it is all triggering point. And most of the nutritionists and the dietitian also are a great community where they're definitely talking about it in some form or the other. And I think there is a lot of nutritionist based videos. They're propagating it. They're talking about health, they're talking about nutrition, and especially they're talking more on the millet and pulses, which was not there 10 years back. Because one of my early startup, when I started in 2013, when I started millet based startup, it was very difficult for me to create that awareness. But today, look at 10 years down the line, now millet is known everywhere. I think probably nutritionists, health experts, the organization like you, probably today social media and digital is the key right way to go. In case we are able to produce good videos, informative videos, not only on nutrition side, protein side, sustainability side, so kind of create that kind of a right ecosystem into the place.
Okay. What inspired you to co-found Winner Being Wellness Private Limited and focus on wellness and nutrition?
I've been an entrepreneur almost 30 years now, ma'am. One of the challenges what I found, and one of the case studies which I looked at in 2013, probably you must have heard about quinoa, right?
Yes, sir.
Quinoa.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So quinoa, as a now it is called a superfood.
Yes.
Uh, let's take an example of quinoa, where Bolivia had created the quinoa market, where Bolivia was the first country to kind of cultivate quinoa, and close to America, they were able to get into the American market, and quinoa become a kind of a superfood. And 2013 it was declared quinoa as the by FAO. Now it became the global superfood, as far as the in terms of nutrition or protein. Then I thought India has more quinoa. Like you have foxtail millet, parallel to quinoa, you have amaranth, you have pearl millet. We have so much, millet in our own country, and also we have so much potential on own pulses. But somehow we are, always inclined, something happening on the west, and it is coming, to us, and then we get influence. And I think that really prompted me, why not we create our own superfood through millet and pulses. And that was the driving point. And and then when I started in 2013, thanks to some of the institute like Indian Institute of Millet Research, where they were, one of those institute which didn't get that kind of a spotlight. But over a period of time, IMR became, the kind of a global kind of a institute. I think this change was really encouraging, and I think it was slowly happening. To me, I think this was, and to me, I think the most important is India largely is we are a dryland agriculture. 70% of our population depends on dryland, and I've traveled this country, breadth wide in this country, and I've seen, the kind of famine sometimes, drought sometimes, and things like that. And I think whatever angle you talk about it, we are not able to, address this particular challenge. I think these are some of the high potential crop. If in case we are able to harness that, probably we definitely can take it to that level. And I have a very strong belief, I've seen the journey, as I told you, on millets right from 2013, when there were few startup. Now you see the entire ecosystem has come. I see the same trend happening in pulses also. And mark my word, ma'am, next 10 years, this will become the international year of pulses will also become. I think that motivated me, being very close to nature, sustainability. I thought probably this really inspired me, ma'am.
Okay. What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs entering the wellness or agri-food sector?
Yeah, well, I think India actually basically sitting at the right time, at the right, kind of opportunity, because the kind of ecosystem we are generating, the focus is slowly shifting from food security, nutritional security. I think we require a lot of entrepreneurs to come into this particular field. And we see a great opportunity in this particular area, because nutrition is not about protein also. It is about zinc, it is about stunted growth. There is a huge opportunity in this particular sector. What it require is kind of leveraging that ecosystem, and taking innovative products, innovative model. India, I think most of this, India definitely can be the hub, like Canada, like Australia. We are sitting on the gold mine. Only thing, it needs to be harnessed. I think now the ecosystem have come, and most thanks to all these agriculture universities, thanks to agriculture, organization like yours, where we are trying to promote. And with this kind of ecosystem, I see a huge potential, especially in the nutrition and the protein side of the business. And I've definitely encouraged most of the young generation to come, because millennials and Gen Zs are looking for innovative product. They're looking for healthier product. They're looking for sustainable product. I think the trend is now slowly changing, to sustainable. That's how you're seeing they're reading the back of the pack. They're actually going, thanks to chat GPT, thanks to most of the technology, where they get the information at a click of a button. I think, most of the youngsters are sitting at a gold mine, at a good opportunity now.
Thank you very much, sir. We have now completed the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we would like to thank Mr. C S Jadhav for the talk and for answering the questions. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for giving me an
Mr.
opportunity.
Yes, sir.